Hello and welcome again to my channel. I'm Rhythm Shift, and I'm not here with another toy review. I've decided that I'm going to start doing a few, I guess what some might call impromptu videos, where I just talk about toys, the hobby, what I'm working on at the moment, general things like that, because I thought it might be interesting. So this is going to be a bit of a different style of video, but I'm just going to talk about some cool toy stuff that I'm working on. So as you can see, I've got this Michelangelo here. This is actually the recent 2021, I think, reissue with the retro rotocast soft heads. I picked up these turtles maybe about a month ago, and I happened to stumble upon them by chance, because I've never actually owned any reissue turtles, because I've still got my originals from 1980. When I get them, 1988, 1989, roughly around 1990 I've got mine. But you know, the 88 Ninja Turtle figures, I've still got my originals, and they're in pretty good condition for the most part. Bear me a second if I can find some here. Yeah, I've got my Michelangelo here. So, I've got my original Michelangelo here. And as you can see, for the most part, this is my original mic, is in great condition. Obviously a few paint scuffs which I'd like to touch up. I believe these scuffs came as a result from trying to use the foot knuckle head. For those of you who are familiar with the TMNT toy line, I had the foot knuckle head. I think I've got it around here somewhere. Forgive me, my room's a mess, so I can't see it at the moment, but that was the toy which was like, you know, the spider. It would come down and there was a little plate, and it touched the turtle's head and it grabbed them, and then you can reel it up. But the feature doesn't really work too well on that, so I think I scuffed the paint on my Michelangelo by trying to use it on him. I'm sure I have that to hand. Never mind, I'll find it some other time. But yeah, for the most part, my original turtles were in good shape. But while I was out, I stumbled upon these in Forbidden Planet in central London. And they were $12.99 each, and they had all 4 turtles there. And I was like, you know what, man, I've never bought any reissue turtles before. And, you know, through wear and tear, my Donatello's staff had broken, which I've recently fixed. But I thought, you know, I could probably get some extra belts. They're in good condition, so I picked them up. But when I took them out of the package and I was fiddling with them, I thought, you know what, man, these are really, really cool. And it rekindled my passion for this scale of figures. Not only this, but recently I've been collecting a lot of the Masters of the Universe Origins figures, which has also rekindled my passion for this figure scale. Now, the reason why I'm saying that is because I've been a toy collector pretty much all my life. Actually, not pretty much, literally all my life I've been a toy collector. And obviously I've collected things at different scales. You know, my first introduction to toys was some of the Star Wars figures, because my brother was a little bit older than me and he had those. Those were 3.75, I believe. But my thing was He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. And those Masters of the Universe figures, I've got an original Clawful here, who I recently did a review on the Origins version. But, you know, these stood at 5.5 inch. And as a child, Masters of the Universe was my favourite toy line, my favourite cartoon, just everything. I just absolutely loved the world of Eternia and He-Man and all the weird creatures and, you know, heroes and villains that inhabited that world. That was my thing. So I was always into Masters of the Universe. And to be honest, the reason why I got into Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is because Masters of the Universe ended and there was nothing to fill that void. So when the Turtles came out, that's what filled that void for me. But going back to other scales, so I collected the Masters of the Universe. I also got some Ghostbusters figures, you know, the real Ghostbusters from Kenner. I don't actually have any to hand. I've just got one here, Janine, to hand. So she's scaled with a Ninja Turtle just fine. You know, sometimes I could use her as an Irma if I wanted to, but really she's Janine. But the point I'm making is that, let me just get my tape measure, which is here. This is where I started. So the Masters of the Universe figures were what, 5.5 inches, as you can see there, 5.5 inches. The Ninja Turtles came up a little bit shorter at 4 inches, but that's perfect because they were like teenagers and, you know, not really fully grown adults. But, you know, as time went on, I collected toys right up until around 1992, 1993 with the Kenner Aliens. And as a child, those are the last toys that I collected as a child. Because after that, toys kind of got a bit funky. You know, I wasn't really into the Star Wars Power of the Force stuff. I wasn't into the Marvel figures at that time, or the X-Men figures. They didn't really do anything for me. So I moved on to playing video games, you know, Master System, Sega Master System, Super Nintendo, stuff like that. And then obviously moved on to Sony PlayStation, and I was an arcade rat. I was always in arcades playing video games, skipping school to play video games. That was my thing. But deep down inside, as much as I loved playing all these great video games, something about me knew that there was something special about actually having an action figure in your hand and manipulate it and making up adventures, as opposed to holding a, you know, PlayStation joypad or a Super Nintendo joypad and sitting in front of the screen. You know, it's kind of all done for you, but when you're playing with toys, you get to control the narrative and everything. So I always wanted to go back to that, but there was just not many good toy lines at the time that I thought were worthy of spending my money on. Fast forward to about 2002, when they done the reissue, not the reissues, the re-release of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the 2002 animated series. I watched a few of the early episodes of that. I mean, about 12 episodes I watched. But around that time I was going to university, so I kind of lost track of, you know, downloading and watching the episodes. And yeah, around 2003, 2004, I was at university, walking through an Asda, and I saw that they had those 2002 Ninja Turtles on the shelf. I was looking at them and thinking, oh, these look kind of cool, shall I buy them? And I was like, oh, I don't know, shall I? I don't know, and I didn't buy them. However, that piqued my curiosity for toys again. So the next year, 2005, Sota Toys released their Street Fighter figures, and I saw those, and I believe I saw Ken and Vega, and I thought, you know, I've got to have these. So I bought them, opened them up. I thought, wow, these are really cool, really nicely articulated. These are really, really nice figures. So I went back and I bought the whole of Wave 1, which was Ryu, Sagat, M. Bison, Chun-Li. And I bought all of Wave 2, which was Cammy, T-Hawk, Blanca, Ken. And so I had those figures, and I thought, you know what, man, these are great, 6-inch scale. I thought, let me have a look around and see what else is cool at that 6-inch scale that I could get to supplement these figures, or to, you know, expand the collection. I found that Toy Biz were doing the Marvel Legends, and that was an instant win for me, because I thought, whoa, I can make X-Men versus Street Fighter scenes by getting some Marvel characters. Because one of my favourite arcade games back in the day was Marvel Superheroes. That Marvel Superheroes game I absolutely loved. You know, I'd pump coins into that almost every day after school for ages. Loved that game. And at the time I was frustrated because I really wanted to know more about the Marvel Universe, but at that time it was very difficult to find out, okay, well, where to start with the comics, or even where to get the comics, because it's not like today where you've got the internet and you can find out, you know, lots of information. It was just, there's no internet, no nothing. It was like the Dark Ages pretty much. Whoa, chain reaction. So I got some Marvel Legends. I bought the Juggernaut, got the Grey Hulk, Colossus, and that was it. Once I got those figures, like, I'm getting these all. So I went back and I collected all of the Toy Biz Marvel Legends, and I had pretty much, I'd say I collected overall about 95% of what Toy Biz released from Marvel Legends. I pretty much got everything I could find. You know, I got the box sets, I got all the figures from the waves, I got the builder figures, I got 2 Sentinels from the Wave 10. I got, you know, the Galactus, you know, the Giant Man, the Apocalypse, the Onslaught BAF. Then I went and I collected all of the Spider-Man classics. For the most part I got those. And I got, what other lines did they do? They did Marvel Legends, Spider-Man classics. They've done an X-Men box set, I got that as well. Got the Fantastic Four box set, and I collected the movie lines. So I got all the figures from Spider-Man movie 1, a couple of the Spider-Man figures from movie 2, the Doctor Octopus. I got the figures from the Fantastic Four movie. Basically anything that Toy Biz was producing Marvel related, I picked up. Then I started collecting the Mattel DC stuff. So I got the DC Universe characters as well. You know, your Batmans, your Superman, Dr. Fate. You know, all the characters that I really wanted from the Justice League animated series. I didn't collect all the DC Universe classics, but I got the vast majority of them, especially some of the builder figures like, you know, Gorilla Grodd, Solomon Grundy. I've still got my Giganta. But that was up until about 2008. And at that time I was making some animation, stop motion with my figures, and my plan was to do an extended universe where I'd have, you know, the Marvel characters meeting the DC characters, meeting the Street Fighter characters, and whoever else I had at the time. And I was working on that film for a very long time, good few years actually, learning about animation, you know, building some props, storyboarding, doing all that stuff. But at the time I was doing the backgrounds in 3D, and I didn't really like doing 3D because something about digital animation just feels it's not very tactile. I actually like to make things, you know, with my hands, and moving a mouse and, you know, manipulating stuff on screen, manipulating geometry on screen isn't really much fun. So I didn't really enjoy making the backgrounds, although I did make, you know, I did make some good progress in building these things. I was going to composite it with green screens and stuff. But around 2008, the Marvel Cinematic Universe kind of started, and they dropped the Iron Man film and the Hulk film. And it was around that time that I absolutely fell out of love with Marvel, because I know this is going to be an unpopular opinion, but I didn't like the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I didn't like the Iron Man film. I didn't like the Hulk film. I didn't like the humour in the films. And I was sitting down after that, and I watched The Dark Knight, because Dark Knight came in 2008 as well. And I was sitting down and I was thinking to myself, you know what, man, I'm kind of tired of Marvel, and I'm kind of tired of DC. What I'd really love is to make something with either Masters of the Universe, which is my primary passion. I mean, Marvel and DC are cool. You know, I like Spider-Man, I like Doctor Doom, I like a few characters from Marvel. But my heart is really in Eternia with Masters of the Universe. I thought I'd really like to do something with them, or with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But at the time, there weren't any figures that were articulated to the point of these characters. Like, there wasn't no Masters of the Universe at 6-inch scale. The Turtles at... NECA released the 4 Turtles in the comic book style, which I got, but they didn't release anything more at the time, so it's like a dead end right there. So, at the end of 2008, Mattel released Masters of the Universe Classics, and as soon as I saw that He-Man and that Beast-Man, I was right on board with it. I jumped on the line and I thought, this is where I really want to be. This is where my heart is at. So I'm going to pull a figure off the floor here, which has fallen down. If I can even reach it. Clawful. And these were at the 7-inch scale. Now, I still have my Marvel and my DC figures at the 6-inch scale. But this was a completely new beast for me. 7-inch scale. But I loved it because you could get so much detail, so much articulation, and that's what I really wanted at the time. And I thought, you know what, man, this is it. I'm going to start making an animation based upon He-Man, and I'm going to use my classics figures, and I'm going to go all in on it. So I was working on this project, and I regained my passion for animating stop motion again. I mean, I've always loved animating stop motion, but doing it with He-Man, that really, you know, got me fired up. And I was working on that for... I cancelled my Marvel project. I just pretty much put that in the back burner. But also at the time, I'd gone back to studying fine art as well. So I was doing a lot of drawing and painting. And at the time, you know, the art world's kind of snobby. And they wanted to see, you know, traditional drawings and, you know, oil paintings and stuff. They weren't really interested in my funky stop motion animation adventures that I was creating. So I was going back to more drawing and painting, because I was thinking to myself, well, maybe animation's a bit too labour intensive, because I was doing it all by myself, and the music and everything as well. I was doing it all by myself, and that's a lot of work. And I thought to myself, if I'm going to put all of my heart and soul into something, it's got to be a project I feel really passionate about. And the Marvel projects, and the DC projects, I was working on Marvel and DC animated film. I've still got the animatics I made, but I stopped working on that, and I was focusing a bit more on drawing and painting at the time, but still working on the Masters of the Universe one. Then life happened and I got distracted because I was seeing a girl at the time and I had to get a job to save some money to travel with her and stuff. So I put my animation on the back burner while I was doing that. Saved the money, went travelling with her. When I got back, I thought, you know what, man, the animation's going well, but I really need to work on the music side of things. So let me work on my songwriting ability so that I'll be able to write good music for these animations. But I went 100% into, you know, focusing on my music learning and also my drawing and painting. So I stopped animating for a while, but I was working on, you know, music theory and drawing and painting. And I never got back fully into the swing of the animation of doing the He-Man one, but I ended up falling sick around the end of 2014. I got very, very ill. I had to be hospitalized. So that really threw things into question. Like, I had to totally reevaluate my whole life. Because, you know, I got very, very sick, basically. It turns out that, I'll just say it. I'll just say it, nothing to be ashamed of. It turns out that I've got a condition, a mental health condition, which they call schizoaffective disorder, which is a combination of schizophrenia and bipolar disorder. So basically my mind completely shattered. So I had to relearn a lot of things. Like, you know, when you have a complete mental breakdown, it's like, let's put it this way, I completely forgot even how to speak for a while. And, you know, it was very scary for my family, because when you have something as serious as that, you know, you can be having hallucinations and stuff and you don't even know. And, you know, life's going on and you're living in a alternate reality, and then you wake up one day and then you find yourself in a mental hospital, and you know, you can't talk, you can hardly move, you've got these crazy headaches, you're having these crazy hallucinations. Now, to be honest, that didn't start in 2014. It really started much, much earlier on in my life, around my early 20s. But I was able to kind of hide my symptoms because obviously at the time I was scared that if I say, well, I'm seeing these things and I'm hearing these things, they might put me in a mental hospital. So I was able to avoid it then, and I didn't get a diagnosis. But I was living with symptoms and trying to manage them myself for about just over 10 years. But the thing is, if your condition goes untreated, it progressively gets worse and worse. That's why around 2014, it just got there was too much happening in my mind that I could no longer hide what was going on with me, and it became to the point where I had to be hospitalized. So when I came out of hospital, I really didn't know where I was, kind of thing. Like, you know, it puts your whole life into question, because all the things that you were planning to do before and with working towards, you know, because the thing is, I've always been a very hard worker. I push myself really hard, but it turns out I was pushing myself too hard. So I kind of had to stop 100% and literally just go back to basics and try and relearn things. For example, I like to play musical instruments. I like to play piano a lot, and you know, I couldn't play piano anymore. All the songs that I used to know, I had to relearn them, and I had to reteach myself how to play them and things like that. So I had to do a lot. Now, at that time, I was still collecting these Masters of the Universe classics, but that's about it. And at the time, I started to think, oh, you know what, man? Maybe I'm just wasting my time and my money buying these toys. What am I really getting out of it? And also at the time, because I was collecting classics, Masters of the Universe classics, Toy Guru was really doing a number on that line, with all the lies, you know, the disappointments, the changing of goalposts, all this kind of shit. It just made it really frustrating. And also, I didn't like the online collector community that was surrounding Masters of the Universe at the time, because there was a lot of fuckery and bullshit going on in it. Like, you know, something that really pisses me off, and I don't care, I'm going to say it. You know, you go online and you hear people projecting their personal worldviews onto the toys. For example, some people will turn around and say, oh, but He-Man was a gay icon because he wore pink. Well, no, that's not true. Anybody who watched the show will know that He-Man loved Teela. Straight up and down. And Prince Adam was a ladies' man. But, you know, you got these people who want to project their own worldview onto these toys, but they put something that's, you know, tainted and impure onto it. Now, the thing with me is that the reason why I've always been into toys is because this was my escape. This was my imaginary world where all the fuckery and bullshit of the world stays outside. This is my little universe, you know? So when I'd go online and I'd see these people making these, you know, crazy comments about, you know, certain characters and certain toys and X, Y, and Z, it was tainting my mind. And I didn't want to think about these toys in that kind of way. So I felt, you know what, man, I have to distance myself from that community because it's ruining my little safe haven. So I withdrew from the online collector community and I just stayed within my own boundaries and kept this as my little world. So that went on for a few years. Well, not even a few years, a year or two. Then I ended up falling sick again. Again, I had to be hospitalized another 2 times. So my mental health was in a really bad place, and it still is, but I've learnt to manage it. Another 2 hospitalizations, came out, also broke my hand during that time, so that was scary because I love to play musical instruments and I was worried, shit, am I ever going to be able to play again? But thankfully, by the grace of God, I was healed, I can play still. But then I was focusing more on my music and stuff and doing some exams with that. Then I got involved with another person. I was doing some music collaboration projects, working on some songs, and around that time I needed to get some more music equipment. So I decided, you know what, man, I've got so many toys, let me downsize a bit, because there's certain toys that I'm not really feeling. You know, I collected them, but there's either better versions of them which I've got now, and those versions are no longer as cool, or I'm just interested in getting other lines. So I decided to sell off most of my Toy Biz Marvel Legends, my DC Universe Classics, and my SOTA Street Fighter figures, and, you know, various other figures from those scales which I collected over that I suppose 2005 to what, 2017-18. That's about 13-year period. You know, my Matty Collector Ghostbusters, I sold it all, and I used that money to invest in some music equipment, and I started collecting Transformers Masterpiece KOs, because I had a few Transformers figures as a child. I hope this is interesting. As I said, this is a different type of video, but I had a few Transformers figures as a child, but they never were able to satisfy me because the scale was off. I mean, it didn't make sense having an Optimus Prime that's the same size as He-Man, and they didn't come with any little minifigures to have them scale to make it look like they're in their little universe. And also the articulation on those vintage Transformers was, you know, terrible. But I did have a few. You know, I had Optimus Prime, Grimlock, Scorponok, Chrome Dome, and later on I bought some reissues of Starscream, who was my favourite Decepticon, who I always wanted as a child but never got. Who else did I have? I had Ultra Magnus, I got that in my childhood, and I got Soundwave, and my brother bought the reissue of Megatron, so I got to play with that, and that Megatron was pretty damn cool. And then I bought some reissue G1 Jazz and G1 Sideswipe. But again, they're so fragile. I mean, they're really the type of toys that you put them on your shelf and they're just kind of trophies, display pieces. You can't really play with them because they're so fragile. So around 2017, early 2017, I've always been a fan of Transformers the movie, and I've always been, something I always meditate on, I always think about it. And I remember thinking, man, I had Hot Rod. I bought a reissue of the G1 Hot Rod. I've still got that somewhere on a shelf. But I was sitting down one day, I thought, you know, man, I really want a good Hot Rod toy. And I knew they did the MP09, back in the day, but I didn't buy it at the time. And I heard bad things about it, that it was very fragile and it was prone to break-in. But I thought, let me see if there's an MP09, maybe cheap or something else. So I had a look and I saw the MP28 Hot Rod, and I saw it as a KO, and I saw it was on TF Direct for £28. And I thought, whoa, £28, usually the MP figures are like £70 versus a KO, let me get it. I ordered it, it arrived and I fell in love. And I thought, this is it, this is the Transformer that I always wanted. You know, the car mode's great, the articulation in bot mode's great, he looks great. I thought, let me get some more of these. So I started collecting Transformers Masterpiece. And I continued to collect those through 2017, pretty much up to the present day. But I sold off my vintage, well not vintage, but my original Toy Biz Marvel Legends for the most part. I kept a few figures like some of my Spider-Man, you know, Psylocke, Cyclops, you know, some of the X-Men from the arcade game, a Hulk, you know, the face-off figures I kept, except the Daredevil and Kingpin. I sold those. I had the variants of them as well, because I told you I had about 95% of all that Toy Biz released for their Marvel figures. I was just all in on them. But anyway, I sold a lot of that off, used it to finance my music equipment and also my Transformers Masterpiece collection. So fast forward to further from there, that takes me pretty much up to the present day, because I had some 7-inch figures with these Masters of the Universe classics. So when I found out that Super 7 were releasing their Thundercats Ultimates, I jumped on it because I thought, oh, I can combine Masters of the Universe with Thundercats. But I got burnt on the first Mattel line because I bought those original Thundercats figures, but the Mattel stopped before they completed the original team. But when Super 7 picked up the rights, I thought, okay, here's a chance for me to finish off that team. So I started collecting those, but then they had the troubles with Wave 2, and so I bought the Wave 1 figures from Super 7, but Wave 2 was nowhere to be seen. Wave 3 had issues too, so it was just delays after delays after delays. So I got frustrated. Now, Super 7 said they were doing their Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Ultimates. Ooh, yeah, I love Ninja Turtles. Finally, I can have Ninja Turtles at a 7-inch scale to fit with my Masters of the Universe Classics and my Thundercats Classics. So I started collecting these. Here's Michelangelo from Super 7's Ultimates. Got Raphael and the first wave. Okay, they're cool. When's the next wave coming? Okay, wait quarter of a year or something. Leonardo and them come out. Okay, great. Wait another quarter of a year. Finally, Michelangelo drops. Okay, where's Donatello? Wait another quarter of a year. Still haven't got my Donatello yet. Now, I pre-ordered my Donatello from Kapow Toys here in the UK. Kapow Toys is usually pretty cool. I like to order from them. But to this day, as at the time of this recording, my pre-order for my Super 7 Donatello still has not arrived. Now, I've seen other retailers in the UK. I mean, Big Bad Toy Store got them in before Christmas, around Christmas time, I think. But I didn't have my pre-order with them. You know, Comics and Cocktails has got their Wave 4 Ultimates. Forbidden Planet has got their Wave 4 Ultimates. Pretty much everybody else in the UK has got their Wave 4 Ultimates. But yet I'm here still waiting for my Donatello. And obviously Casey Jones, and I want Muckman. Mondo Gecko I can give or take, but you know, I want Muckman and Casey Jones. So I got frustrated. And I was really frustrated because, man, I want to make my animations and stuff, because I'm doing it, you know, at my own pace. I still like to make animations and stuff, but you know, I try to ease down on the workload I put myself through, so I just do it at my own pace. But the release schedule is just terrible. I mean, where the hell is Chitara, Tigra, Mumra? You know, what the hell's going on? So I know we had the things with the COVID-19 and stuff, yeah, okay, whatever. But that brings me full circle to why I'm talking about this figure, right? It's Michelangelo, because when I went into Forbidden Planet about a month ago, and I saw these retro Rotocast, Chain Reaction again, and I saw these retro Rotocast Ninja Turtle figures, I picked up all 4, got home, unboxed them, and I fell in love with them all over again. And I thought, you know what, man, instead of waiting for Super 7 to release these waves of figures which take ages to come out and I can't really work at the rate I want to, I have to wait for these figures to come out, why don't I just go back to this scale and use my original figures and go back and collect all the figures that I wanted but didn't get as a child and combine them with my Masters of the Universe Origins. So I've got a Masters of the Universe Origins Skeletor here, and because I got back into collecting this scale of figure with the Origins, I thought, you know what, man, I'm going to make a decision. I'm going to go back to 5.5 inch scale collecting. So fuck Super 7 and waiting for them to bring out these figures which have disappointing articulation and incredibly high prices. I'm going to go back to collecting 5.5 inch. So I can combine my Masters of the Universe with my Ninja Turtles, and I can bring my Ghostbusters back into the fold, because they scale as well. So, with that being said, I then found out that Hasbro released these so-called Fright Features Ghostbusters, which look like the movie, but they scale perfectly with the original kind of Ghostbusters stuff. So with all of this, because Ghostbusters was another toy line I enjoyed as a child, at least early on. It got stupid when they started doing the Haunted Humans and stuff. I dropped out the line then. But my first love, Masters of the Universe, with my second love, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, combined with my third love, Real Ghostbusters. And the cool thing is, I've still got my original toys and my original vehicles and playsets. So I've still got my Ghostbusters Firehouse. I've still got my Castle Grayskull, Snake Mountain and Fright Zone. I've still got my Party Wagon and Blimp and, you know, Turtle Cycle and Foot Cruiser. Why don't I just go back to using my original stuff? So I'm saying all of that to say this, that I've gone full circle 360 right back to my childhood now with these toys. So now I've been collecting Masters Origins, these Ghostbusters Fright Features, and I've been going back and getting all the figures that I wanted from Ninja Turtles that I didn't have as a child. I did have quite a lot of them as a child, but I had Waves 1 and Wave 2. It turns out, I had all of Wave 1 and all of Wave 2, but it turns out that, you know, some of the figures were short packed in this country. So figures that were released in America took ages to come out over here, so I only had a few of Wave 3, being Slash and Ray Fillet. And I had a character called Ground Chuck, which I never even knew was a legit Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle character, because I'd not seen him on the cartoon, because I couldn't watch the cartoon after a certain point because my house got burgled and they stole the TV. And I'd never seen the toy in any other media. And I was like, is this really a legit Ninja Turtle character? Because I bought it off a market stall in the about 1992. And there were a lot of bootleg turtle figures around that time. And I was wondering, is this a legit figure? It looked like a legit figure. It had all the packaging. But on the back of the box, it had all these figures that I'd never seen in this country, like Chrome Dome, Dirtbag, Worm. Now that Worm is a figure that I really wanted because I knew him from the Archie comics. And that's why I got Ray Fillet and Slash, because I collected the Archie comics, so I recognised those characters. But I really wanted like Scumbug, Worm, Wingnut Screwloose, Muckman, Mutagen Man, all those figures. I just never really saw them as a child because the pegs were clogged with those flipping 1992 movie star Ninja Turtles, which I didn't want. And you know, there's just no new waves coming, and I just, after a while I got fed up and stopped looking and just played more video games. So I've said a lot there. I'm probably going to clip the video there. Actually no, I'm not going to clip the video there. There's something else I want to talk about, because now I'm back at 5.5 inch scale collecting, so there's a lot of figures I've been finding that fit well with this scale, which is perfect for the world I'm building. So for example, I've got some Scooby-Doo figures. So you've got Velma, she fits, you know, she's a teenage girl. She fits perfectly. What else have I got that fits? I've been collecting these to supplement my Masters of the Universe. Obviously, back in the day I used to love WWF. So I've been getting some of these Masters of the WWE Universe, which is cool. So they go well as well with my He-Man figures and stuff. Here's Macho Man Randy Savage, one of my favourite wrestlers of all time. Oh yeah. They fit with that scale. I've also gone back and I've started collecting some Star Wars stuff, which also fits at this scale. These Hasbro Hero Mashers. You know, here's a Stormtrooper. Now let me get some of these figures out of the way. Now you could get Stormtrooper in here. Again, so now I can combine some Star Wars with, let me get Michelangelo out of the way. Yep, it happens. We live with it. This is the fun of playing with toys. See, I can put some Star Wars in there, which is cool. So I can cross that universe. Basically, I'm putting everything that I thought was cool into one universe to make my own little stories. Let's stand Michelangelo up again. Who else can we have in this world? I've got some Marvel. Because as I said, I sold off my Marvel Legends for the most part, but I found out, well, if they do Star Wars Hero Mashers, well, they do Marvel Hero Mashers too. So I've gone back and collected some of my favourite Marvel superheroes. So as you see, we've got an Iron Man here, and he scales well with these. I mean, this is a 6-inch figure, but if you put him in a crouch stance, ready action pose like a He-Man figure, they'll scale just fine. So I've got an Iron Man there. Who else have we got? Star Wars, Marvel. Well, that's pretty much it for the most part for the moment on that. But so that's my thing. I'm deciding to build my world around this 5.5-inch scale, which is great. Really liking that. Now, I did pick up a figure today, if I can find it, which I wasn't really intending to buy, but it's one of those things where I suppose I call it a depression buy, where I was depressed, looking around the toy shop, trying to find something to elevate my mood, because that's why I do this hobby, you know, I have fun toy collecting. And I saw this on the shelf. They have this amazing Spidey, Amazing Friends. Oh, she fell out of the packet. Might as well just give it the packet. I'll do a proper review on it another time. This is a Gwen Stacy Ghost Spider figure. Now, she also fits at this scale. Now, this isn't the figure that I'd usually buy, but I saw this. They had like one on the shelf. They had Miles Morales, Spider-Man, and Black Panther and her. Now, this isn't a figure that I'd usually get, but there was something cute about it, and I thought, you know what, man, this is a cute little figure. Will it fit at 5.5? And I thought, well, yeah, it will. I mean, the head's a little big, but I can live with that. You know, it's got some cuteness going on. I mean, but you can, you know, it's my universe, man. My universe. Yep. So I can do what I want. And so I thought, yeah, I'll get her. And she was like, what, £6? And I'm really happy I got her. Now, there is something about her. She's got some nice arm articulation, but the legs, when you move one, it moves both. So I'm going to do a little bit of customizing on this. I might be able to cut the body apart, separate the legs, maybe put a screw in there, screw each leg on so the legs can be independently articulated, and that will make the figure a lot cooler for me, because I want to have a, you know, like most figures where you can move one leg forward and that. Now again, with animation, with these figures being limited articulation, you're not going to be able to get as fluid animation as with obviously the highly articulated 7-inch figures or 6-inch figures, but I'm deciding to make some artistic compromises. To, you know, it doesn't have to be perfect, man. Not every stop motion has to be Ray Harryhausen quality. So I'm just doing my own thing, you know, and having fun with it, which is the most important part, and not stressing myself out too much. So that's a little bit of a history of you know, me and my collecting tastes. I forgot to mention though, I do have a few 6-inch Star Wars Black Series figures, because my brother was a little bit older than me, and I was born into the Star Wars era. I was born in 1981, so that was in the period between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. Now, I do love the Star Wars films, but that was more his... Oh shit, I just turned my PlayStation on. that was more my brother's thing. Like, he'd collect that and I'd collect Masters of the Universe. But I did, you know, have a few parts Star Wars stuff. I had Luke's X-Wing fighter and a couple other figures here and there. And when Star Wars ended, my brother transitioned into G.I. Joe. So I also got some G.I. Joe with him because I used to play with him sometimes. And so I got a few G.I. Joe figures, and I got into the comics and the cartoon with him because he was really into it. So I did have a love for G.I. Joe, so I do enjoy still collecting G.I. Joe Classified, but that's 6-inch scale. But I'm definitely, you know, all in on G.I. Joe Classified. But again, the figures have been a bit slow to come out recently, but there's my snake eyes. So I do have some 6-inch figures still, but G.I. Joe is definitely something I have a emotional connection to very strongly. So yeah, that's why I've got those. But there is something that I did get in the post today, which I want to open up and talk about. So let me clear some space and I'll do that now. And as I say, this is just a little impromptu thing. But the reason why I'm doing this is because I thought, you know, I've got so much to say about toys, but I don't really talk to many people about toys, like, you know, on collector forums and stuff. I'm kind of a bit withdrawn like that because, as I say, there's some real unsavory characters in the online world, which, as I say, I don't want to pollute my own world by hearing their bullshit. So, as I say, I withdrew from being actively involved in, you know, toy collector communities for the most part, although there are a few places where I do go which are cool, like Articulated Comic Book Art. That's a great group because I do love photography and art, so, you know, pretty consistent with the quality of posts and no random bullshit on there. But anyway, let me get on to what I want to talk about. So I've got a package today, which I'm going to open up now. I'm not going to do a review on it. I'll probably do a proper video review on it at some point, you know, properly talk about it. But I'm going to open up this package, do a live unboxing. So it should be fun, hopefully. Well, it's going to be fun for me. I don't know about for you. You're kind of watching me live my life here, but this is how I get down. So let me get my scissors. So this package arrived today. I know what it is, but I'll open it on screen. So let me just cut the package open. It's always exciting to get new toys. It really is, as I say, a lifelong hobby for me, and I don't see myself stopping. I mean, there was a time when I was questioning, you know, everything about my life and my place in the world. But you know what? Eventually I came to a conclusion that I have to enjoy the things I enjoy and not let other people destroy the things that I enjoy. And if that means, you know, just being a reclusive collector rather than an extrovert collector, then so be it. Now it's strange because I'm talking about, you know, reclusive and extrovert and how I am making YouTube videos, but hey, it is what it is, you know. So I do need a knife, and of course my knife isn't to hand, so I'm going to have to use scissors. Right, so we're going to cut this open. This is the first time I've done a live unboxing on my channel, I guess. There we go, it's open. So, it's not in its original packaging. I found this on eBay, but it's 100% complete apparently. So, I'll have to take the seller's word for it. In the box we have some newspaper, to be expected, which is good, which means the product is very well protected and well packaged. But here we have, this is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2003 Surreally Launcher. So let me get it out the box. There's a couple of sewer lids which are just rattling around loose in here, so I'm going to be careful not to lose them. Actually, there's quite a lot of them rattling around loose in the box. Check it out. As he said, 100% complete, so that's cool. And how much did I pay for this? I think I paid about £22. Yeah, I think it's about £22. On eBay, obviously. I do get a lot of my stuff from eBay. Now, there's no instructions, so I'm going to have to work out how to put this thing together. But before I do, I'm going to have to give it a good wash, because anytime I buy anything second hand on eBay, I always wash it thoroughly, because, you know, I'm very sensitive when it comes to people's auras and stuff, so yeah, I've got to wash that shit away. Right, so here we have it all out of the box, and this is the Surreally Launcher. Now, back in the day, I do remember walking into a shop around 1991 maybe. No, it was coming up towards November 1990. And they had this new wave of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle products in the shop. And they had the double barrel plunger gun. What else did they have? I remember seeing the double barrel plunger gun and pizza thrower. And I looked at it and I thought, this is stupid. Because with me, I've always been a very serious type of guy. For example, when it comes to Ninja Turtles, I like, you know, the darker tone, you know, the Mirage, comic seriousness Turtles. Yeah, I do like the cartoon, you know, because we all grew up watching the cartoon for the most part. It was fun and stuff, but when it comes to it, I mean, my Turtles are like, I was always playing with the Turtles as if they were the, you know, the darker Mirage serious Turtles. Yeah, they have a laugh and a joke, but when it comes to business, they get down, you know. So I saw the pizza throw and I thought, this is ridiculous, man. Why are they going to shoot food at their enemy? How is that going to hurt anybody? And I thought about it, and I didn't want the toy at the time. I didn't ask for it or anything like that. I just thought it was stupid. Now that I'm getting back into turtle toy collecting, I was thinking, let me re-examine some of these vehicles and playsets that I didn't get at the time and see if they're any good with adult eyes. You know, maybe I was a bit too hasty and quick to judge it as a child. So I was looking at the pizza thrower and I thought, you know what, this is actually a pretty cool toy in the sense that I like its function. It's a tank that shoots projectiles, but the whole concept of shooting pizza is stupid. And I thought to myself, wouldn't it be better if they were actually shooting manhole covers? Because this ties into the theme of Turtles. And I mean, imagine a sewer manhole cover being hurled at you, you know, at full force. That would be like, imagine getting hit by one of these. Like, that could fucking decapitate someone or just shatter someone's rib cage. See, this is the kind of way I like to think about, you know, toys. Like, I thought this would be so much cooler if they actually launched sewer lids. So my thought was that I'd buy a vintage pizza thrower, I'd take the discs that they came with, I'd remold them and cast them in resin and paint them grey, so they'd be sewer lids instead of pizzas. But it turns out that they actually released a toy which was a Surreally Launcher for the 2003. So I thought, okay, let me try and track it down. Tracked it down on eBay. Someone was selling it 100% for very cheap. I thought, okay, I'm going to buy that. So I snapped it up, and here it is. Now, it does look a lot like the original pizza thrower. The top part, I mean, it seems pretty similar. I didn't own it, so I don't really know. I'm just going through what I've seen online. And, yeah, so I thought I'd get this version because it's got the sewer lids and looks like a tank. So I'm not sure how to assemble this. This actually kind of smells kind of funky though. Oh, the joys of second-hand toys. So I'm really going to have to give this a good wash. But, well, here's the body part. As I said, it comes with all these lids. I'm not sure how many there is here, but there's quite a lot. And you've got this base part, which is the tank sort of treads. Now this is dusty as fuck. You probably can't see on the camera because it's a bit zoomed in, but I'll do a proper review of this at some point. But it seems like the back wheels move. I'm really gonna have to move this camera up. Right, so it seems like the back wheels move. These front treads, these tank treads don't move, but there's fucking layers of dirt here. Man, this looks like it's been around since 1973. Anyway, well, I can't complain, I got it for a good price. There's some little wheels here which do move. This should be pretty straightforward to wash and get clean. But let me just see how this sort of fits together. So I think this part will go on here. Yeah, there's a space for that. Oh, it clips in quite nicely. And so that sits on there like that. Yeah, forgive me for the mess on my workspace. You know, I do some repairs and other kind of work. This is some plastic weld, a couple tools and stuff. I'll maybe talk about that in another video. But that looks really cool, man. That looks like a fucking, and you can rotate this and aim it. That's pretty badass, man. Now this looks like something I'd be scared of. This looks like something that could really put fear into the Foot Clan. And yeah, man, so it comes with a seat, and that's another thing. The seat on the original, oh, it isn't 100% complete because there seems to be a seat belt missing, but I don't care, I can use an elastic band for that. The original Pizza Thora had a pizza box seat, which is fucking stupid as hell. So you can put that seat on there. You could put a figure in there. Oh, mic just fell. So Mike could sit up here, I guess. Yeah, that looks cool. You'd put this on here, I guess. I'm liking this already, man. I'm very happy with this purchase already. How does that fit on? I don't know. Does it go like that? Now that's a strange thing to me because it means that they couldn't actually see their targets. I mean, how do they actually see through this to shoot at anybody? How do they aim? Oh, I don't know. I guess you have to use your imagination. So I guess that sits like that. I mean, come on, man. That's what I'm fucking talking about, man. That's a cool ass. Ooh, foot killing vehicle, man. And Mike can. Oh, I love this already, man. I haven't even put batteries in to test it yet, but I'm fucking feeling this. Now, hey, I could pay what, £500, £450 for some shitty Necker party wagon, or I can pay £22 for a badass tank like this, man. And it's no brainer to me. So fuck Super 7. Okay, oh, and that's another thing as well, man. When I was on my way home today, I got a notification from Big Bad Toy Store. I'll do that afterwards while I talk so it doesn't make too much noise. I got a notification from Big Bad Toy Store telling me that my Thundercats Ultimates Wave 2 is finally going to be shipping soon. I got that notification. I thought, you know what, man, to hell with Thundercats Ultimates, because I've been collecting the Savage World Funko Thundercats and combining them with some of my vintage Thundercats. So I'm like, you know what, man, fuck Super 7. I've got my Thundercat team for the most part. I just need a Wily Cat, who I'm going to order tonight. I just remembered I need to do that. And a Snarf, and then I've got the team. Done. Sorted. And they fit in with my 5.5. Now, 9.95 to 5.5. There's a joke there. One of the coolest songs on the original Turtles soundtrack was 9.95 by Spunkadelic. I recommend you check it out. Love that soundtrack. So yeah, from 9.95 to 5.5 inch collecting. Yay. Anyway, so I cancelled my Thundercats pre-orders. I just dropped them like a bad habit. Dropped them like a hot potato. And I used the money instead to buy a couple of I won a few auctions on eBay for a Ninja News Cycle for April. That's a cool ride for her. A couple other figures, And I also wanted to get some Boss Fight Bucky O'Hare stuff, because the Boss Fight Bucky O'Hare stuff fits with 5.5. So I'll be adding that to my collection. So yeah, sorry Super 7, you had your chance and you lost it. So let's continue to stack these bad boys in here. I'll have to count how many there are, but I mean, you're going to get a lot of action out of this. Now it does take some C-type batteries, which I've got a couple, but they're actually in other vehicles at the moment, like Masters of Universe Attack Track and Spidey. So I'm going to need to get some more C batteries at some point soon. Man, this thing stinks. I really need to give this a good wash. But I do love the toy. So look how many lids you can load into that. I mean, I've got damn near 15 or 20 in there, maybe even more. And that ain't even full. There's space for more in there. So I might mould and cast some more. I don't know if I need to, but there's about... Where's my tape measure? If all that I've loaded in there thus far, there's about 1 inch worth of space left in there, which I could fit a good few more sewer lids in. So I may do that. I might. But that is a bad-ass looking vehicle, and it seems like it could store more than one turtle. So let's get Donatello up here. Yeah, you could all be riding into battle, man. You could have about 3 turtles on there. There's a peg on the side. Probably have another holding on there. Man, this is a beast. It looks much cooler than the original Pizza Thrower, I must say. I never owned the original Pizza Thrower, but I'm glad I've got this one. So, with that, coming up to an hour now of me talking about toys. But it's a lot of fun, man. I've got a lot to say about a lot of things when it comes to toys, because as I say, it's been my passion for basically all my life. So I think I'll probably do more impromptu videos like this where I just talk about stuff, because doing reviews is fun, and I've got plenty of stuff I do need to still review, but it's fun to talk about this stuff because you know, some of these things aren't really covered very well on YouTube. You know, I only saw one review of this on YouTube, and it was a good review which prompted me to decide to invest in it. But yeah, a lot to say about a lot of things, man. So yeah, I'm going to wrap this up here. I hope you've enjoyed it. I'll be back with more videos soon. And yeah, I'm going to put some batteries in this bad boy, test it out, then give it a good thorough wash. Then I'll probably do a review of it. So that might not be straight away, because I've got a couple of other things which I want to review before that. But there'll be reviews coming, and there'll be more impromptu videos coming, Lord willing. So yeah, take care. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll catch you on the next one.